Alright, give it up for day 15. Day 15. How's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with a video on One Piece where I'm going to be talking about my favorite arc in all of One Piece, Whole Cake Island. And this arc is long. Like, I have to preface this by saying this is probably going to be like a 20 to 30 minute video, which, I mean, usually happens when I'm doing like a review for these videos, like a movie or anything like that. But regardless of what happens, it's probably gonna be a long one. So just be strapped in. It's around the same episodes as Whole Cake or Dressrosa. Well, no, it's not, but it's long enough to be close to it. Where everything else in the series doesn't even come close to reaching Dressrosa's length. With Whole Cake Island being 95 episodes and Dressrosa being 115. So it's a lot. Like it's genuinely a lot, but we'll make it through. We'll make it through. And the reason why this arc is my favorite is because a lot of hype moments happen in this. The best fight in the series happens in this, and one of my favorite characters gets really good character development in this. But that's just like the tip of the iceberg. Like Dressrosa, or excuse me, Whole Cake Island, the intricacies of it, I'll explain in this video, or at least try to. If I miss stuff, again, the comments are always there, but try not to spoil stuff for people. Just, if you have any questions about all this, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, so spoiler-free section, or Whole Cake Island, for me, it's a 9.5 out of 10. Like, it's generally just that good. Well, actually, it's a 9 for sure. This arc is like a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10. But it's not a 10. It's definitely not a 10. At least, like, anime-wise. This arc has terrible pacing issues. Terrible, terrible pacing issues. Just like Dressrosa. Just like the arcs that are going to come. It is paced egregiously bad. It's crazy. And that's just what happens with post time skip One Piece. Like, if the pacing was better, we wouldn't need to have 115 episodes for Dressrosa, 95 episodes for Whole Cake Island, like so many episodes for Wano. We wouldn't need to have that. But that's just an egregiously bad problem that this show has. The pacing is bad. And like you would think like, oh, but One Piece is a long show, it's a long manga. Why wouldn't it be long, right? And that isn't the problem. If One Piece was long and that was it, then that wouldn't be the problem. People would be watching a lot more One Piece the same way that they would watch Dragon Ball, since that has like 600 episodes if you put like everything together. Or Naruto, which like if you put OG Naruto, Naruto Shippuden and Boruto together, like filler and all, like you would have just as many episodes as One Piece does, except a lot more filler. And that would be fine because a lot of long shows, no matter what they are, as long as the pacing is decent, are watchable. And you can skip the filler because Naruto has egregiously bad filler, like in terms of quantity, not in terms of quality. And Bleach has the same thing. One Piece has 100 episodes of filler, and like that sounds like a lot, but in reality, that's only 10% of the show. That's how much there is for One Piece. And the reason why there's that much is because of the pacing. And my friend and I were talking about it, and if One Piece had better pacing, it would be like cut in half. Or at the very least, like there would be like 600 episodes right now. And that's still crazy to think about because of how much there actually is in the show. So pacing drags this arc down for me. But people don't like this arc for different reasons. I'll get into those in a spoiler section. But pacing is an issue. So just be aware of that. But besides that, the voice acting is great. The animation is amazing. Not the best in the series because we've seen that improve later on, but animation is great. Up to this point, is the best we've seen so far. You have the character development, amazing. This arc, you have some really really beautiful stuff, and you think that it wouldn't be that crazy because you're missing half. Actually, excuse me, that was gonna be a huge spoiler. I can't mention that. But yeah, like you could because of a reason in this arc, you think that it wouldn't be as good because of the what's it called? Con, well, I don't even know what the word is. The factor playing into it, into what's missing. What I was going to mention, if you know what I'm talking about. But regardless, like that's fine. Besides that, like I think the arc is great. I think the I think everything that I mentioned so far is great. I think the fights are great. I think that the music is fire. overall, like this arc, this story is dope. Like generally, this story really just sticks with me when I think about it. Just how much really is in here, and the fact that it should be split into two parts. I feel like the same way that Annie's Lobby and Water 7 were split into two parts, Whole Cake Island should have been split into two parts because it has the perfect way to split it too. I'll talk about that later in the later spoiler stuff. But Whole Cake Island, fire arc, 9 to 9.5 out of 10. Better than Dressrosa for me, but that's me being biased. People are gonna say that Marineford is the best arc, and I don't disagree with them. But for me, Whole Cake Island is my favorite, so that's where I'm gonna be at. But yeah, so let me go into the spoiler stuff. Spoiler free section over. Spoiler stuff begin. So this arc takes place immediately after Zoe, where Luffy, Nami, uh, Chopper, Brook, Pedro, and Carrot are all going to find Sanji. And they have to go to Whole Cake Island because that's where the wedding's happening. So we're realizing, like, yo, Sanji is over here because he got invited to a wedding. And as we're going over there, we meet all the craziness of the combo again, and we meet actually a person. We meet somebody important. We meet Reiju, who we come to find out is Sanji's sister. And Sanji actually has a family besides Zeph, and Zeph isn't his biological father. He's related to a group of people known as Germa 66. Germa are heroes around the world, at least in terms of the comics. In real life, they're horrible people. Excuse me, generally horrible people, except for Reiju. Reiju's cool. But yeah, so we're realizing a lot more about Sanji now. We realize that what we learned in Baratie is nowhere near what we needed to know about Sanji. Sanji just never mentioned his family because there's a reason why he actually never did because he never wanted to be associated with his family, with the Vinsmoke name. So that's why his family always blacked out his name as a pirate because, and they always like made his bounty look extra crusty, was because of the fact that he's a Vinsmoke, and because he's a part of Germa, he can't have his name be sullied, and have Germa's reputation be sullied as well. So that's why they have to alter it. But yeah, so they after they beat Reiju and all that, she helps suck poison out of Luffy because he ate something poisonous. Blah blah blah, and they make it to Whole Cake Island. They get there and there's just a bunch of stuff going on. Jinbei's here. This is where we meet Jinbei again, and he's leaving Big Mom's crew. This is where we meet a lot of Big Mom's family, and the reason why the Big Mom pirates are like emperor level crew is because her family is the crew, and she has like 46 children, like well not 46 children, 46 boys and like 44 girls. So she has a crew big enough to be like a crew, and that's just like off of size. Strength is completely different. And on top of that, Big Mom's power as well is just really strong. So it makes it possible to have a huge crew, regardless of whether it's sentient people or not. But yeah, so we just get here and a lot of stuff is happening. Yeah, Luffy fighting Cracker once they get here using a Gear 4 Tank Man. Stupid form, but it's cool. It's funny. You have us seeing Big Mom and her going on a rampage, and it's just like it's crazy. It really shows that a Big Mom gets hunger pangs, all that stuff. It's cool, it's really cool, but it's important. So remember that, and just getting acquainted with Whole Cake Island because it's a territory. Like Big Mom made this territory, and this is where she resides. So this is where we're gonna be for a long time. So we have to get acquainted with the fact that it's a candy island, like a candy territory, if anything like a candy archipelago. Like it's weird, it's super weird, but it's interesting. And while we're here, Luffy after fighting Cracker, basically gets he gets to Sanji. He does meet Sanji, and Sanji over here, he's been getting acclimated again with his family, getting prepared for the wedding. There's all this stuff is going on. He he sees Luffy, and to basically prove that like he's done, or at the very least like solidify it for himself, he beats up Luffy because Luffy lets it happen, and Nami's there watching. You have Brook and Chopper somewhere else with Pedro and Carrot, all that, and it's a super sad scene, like a really sad scene. Whole Cake Island made me cry so much. It's crazy. This is one of those times where Luffy and Sanji just both having to face each other like this. Like, no matter what you say about Sanji, right? Sanji is one of the OG members from the before the Grand Line, before they got to Robin, to Frankie, to Chopper, all those people, right? The original members of the Straw Hat crew are Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and what's his face, Sanji. You know, like these are the original people of the crew before you got people like again Robin, Frankie, Chopper, Brooke, and people who are going to join later on. Like this is the original member, you know, and the fact that he's leaving it and is forced to leave and he's carrying this burden by himself is like it's selfish. It's selfish, and again, I like that. I like that type of writing because it gives him a character flaw. Sanji is a man who respects women, and we know that because we learn about that in his flashback, why he respects women, and we'll talk about that later. But he's a man who respects women, who also has a perverted side. But his main problem is that he's too prideful to ask for help. He doesn't want to concede for help because he feels like he's strong enough to deal with it on his own. And I like it a sense of pride where he's, oh, I'm strong. I'll always be strong. I'll always be able to handle it. But no, like, because he has like that man complex, the masculinity complex, where because he thinks that he's a man, you know, and he's taking care of women and just trying to take care of his crew, that he can take care of it by himself. But that's just not true, you know. Sanji, you're a part of the demon trio, the monster trio. That doesn't mean that you can do it alone. You know, like the only reason you guys have gotten this far is because you guys have done it together. And Sanji just isn't understanding that right now. On top of that, he's in such a stressful situation with the wedding, with Big Mom, with seeing his family again, with being reminded about his mother. It's like, dang, man, like he has it rough, genuinely has it rough. So I sympathize with Sanji. If you don't, that's completely fine. Like, I understand why you wouldn't, because it seems like his actions are just a act of betrayal and nothing more. But I'm looking at it in a different way. So, you know, that's just how I see it. But regardless, you know, once he comes back to Germa, or well, once he beats up Luffy, he leaves, and his family's just like, yo, you did it. Reiju, by the way, isn't a part of this. Like, she isn't um, as egregiously bad or evil as Sanji's three brothers are. There's number one, number two, number four. Then you have Reiju and Sanji's number three. Five members of Germa, and it's just it that well yeah that they're terrible. Like his brothers are terrible. Reiju's the only good one because she's the closest to her mother, and they're all genetically modified. Like everybody, including Sanji, they're all genetically modified. And with Sanji's mother, actually, she had like a termin. She was terminally ill, and she was the only one that could help Sanji. Right, like she was sensitive, she was kind, and she was cool. Her name was Sora, and she died. She passed away. Sanji witnessed it right in front of him. And so Reiju is just like, Sanji, we need to get you out of here. Like, you're going to keep getting bullied by our brothers. Because his brothers are horrendously evil. Again, like, I cannot mention that enough. So Reiju helped him escape by crafting him a boat and setting him away. And that's where Sanji met Zeph because they crashed, and that's where Baratie starts. That's why Sanji's never been with his family because he hates them, except for Reiju. But regardless, you know, Germa, like the actual leader, the guy, he is a scientist, and he actually worked with Caesar, Vegapunk, and Queen, and I'll talk about that later. But oh, actually, yeah, that's not important right now, but that will be important later. So just remember that. But yeah, so he's back. He already hates his family. He hates his brothers. He's interacting with Reiju again, trying to protect the servants of the castle, but it's not working. He hates his father. All that stuff going on. Sanji's having a rough right now. And after well, actually no, I'll get to that later. Sanji, after he left Luffy and all that, he's getting ready for the wedding, and the person that he's gonna marry is Pudding, and so this is like the I guess the seafaring days of the of history. Him being 21 years old and her being 16 looks very icky on paper, but I guess considering the time period, it's not okay, but just understandable why it was happening. But it's bad. Like it is bad. I can't defend it. I can just try to understand it, and it's hard to. It's really hard to. Like I'm trying, guys. Like I'm really trying to look past it, but that just like that is icky. Like really icky. The fact that they're forcing that wedding upon each other. It's arranged, but still, like it's bad. And putting, as I mentioned, she's a nice character, but you'll see why later on. In reality, she's a horrible person, horrible person. But Sanji doesn't know that yet. So she's a daughter of like Big Mom's daughter, one of them. I don't remember which one, but she's a younger one. All that stuff, blah blah blah. And he goes to see her. He goes over to the castle and he's meeting her, getting really acquainted with her. She has a nice personality from the outset, but then where we get to see more and more of her. And Sanji's just he's trying to make the most of it, right? Because even though he's basically excommunicado from the group or self excommunicado from the group, he's trying to make the most of it by at least having a happy marriage. Because even though he won't be able to live the life that he wants, at least he'll be able to live the life that he was given with somebody that he could tolerate. Like somebody that seems like a good person. And as we're what's it called? As we hear Sanji goes to go see Pudding in the room, and he overhears a conversation where, oh, Pudding, she starts talking to some of the dressers because Big Mom can make inanimate objects, like they give souls to them. And she's like, "Oh shoot, I can't wait to kill Sanji at the wedding. I'm gonna shoot this boy. It's gonna be crazy, bro. He's like, this guy's such a sleaze bag. He's so dumb. He's so stupid." And she's just like making fun of him for thinking that she's actually in love with him, right? And Sanji, hearing this, he goes outside on the balcony and he starts smoking a cigarette, but it won't light because it's raining outside and because his tears are drowning out the flame. And that's the second time that this arc made me cry. Sanji is 0 for 2 in the pain arc. It's rough, bro. Like it's genuinely rough. The man has to deal with so much, and like again, I'm a Sanji sympathizer, so I can see the the stuff that he's going through right now. But if you don't agree, I completely understand. Just let me know why down below, and just give me some good reasons. Just give me some valid reasons as to why you don't. You don't have to, but just like I need to understand like why you wouldn't, right? Because it's not inherently exclusive to, but I just want to see why, right? But regardless, he's crying. It's really rough, and he's gonna what's it called? He's gonna still participate in the wedding, but he's going through it. Sanji's going through it. He lost his friends because he forced his way out. His wife is gonna be a terrible person, and he's gonna die. He's going through it right now. But regardless, Luffy on the other hand, Luffy and Nami are literally they're they're going through it as well. Luffy's in prison, Nami's in prison. They're going to die. They're basically going to die. And while Luffy's basically ripping apart his arms trying to get out of prison, Jinbei shows up. And now he's finally a part of the Straw Hat crew. He joins them. He finally joins the Straw Hat crew. At least for right now. You'll see why later. But yeah, so Jinbei sets Luffy and Nami free, and now it's like, yo, I left the Big Mom crew. I'm basically an enemy of the state now. I'm with you guys. I'm ready. I'm ready for the beef. And Luffy's like, all right, bet I'm gonna go get Sanji. Nami, you go back to Chopper and Brook and all of them. Update them on everything. I'll be back. And the way that Luffy and Nami got captured was really cool because Luffy had to fight like 100 people by himself, hungry as well, like tired, depressed, beaten up, and just battered and tattered. He had to fight 100 people in the ring, just brawling them, bro. It was really cool. But then, what's it called? He goes back to the spot where Sanji beat him up because he said like, yo, well actually I messed it up. Luffy fought all those people there when he came back. And that's why he's all battered and tattered and hungry and just starving, right? And he's really messed up right now. Cause see again he got captured earlier, but now it's like he's back because of Jinbei, and now he fought like so many people. I cannot understate this or overstate this enough. The man fought so many people just to go see Sanji, And Sanji on his side goes back to see Luffy because he needs that one spark, that one hope. He thinks that genuinely he might actually be there, and he is. Luffy was true to his word, and that's saying something after what we've seen him go through. Like, I'm being reductive, I'm not explaining everything, but like, if you've seen what I saw when I was watching it the first time, well, yeah, the only time because that was like 3 years ago, it was it was heartrending, genuinely heartrending. Like, because if you've lived enough where you've had friends, you've ended friendships, you've started friendships, you've had ups and downs with your friends. Hurting your friends is not good. Like, not, well, not good, but more like hurting your friends never feels good. And hurting them on that personal level, like, unless if you're just evil and you love doing it, you love ruining people and hurting them emotionally, then yeah, I guess you'll take pleasure from that. But hurting your friends is never, like, why would you take pleasure in that, right? Sanji didn't take pleasure in beating up Luffy. Sanji was crying while he was doing it. It's the fact that he has to deal with this overwhelming guilt of the fact that he beat up his captain because he was selfish, you know, because he was unwilling to ask for help, because he put his crew first, but inherently it was a selfish decision because he didn't trust in his crew as well. So the fact that he's going back is literally just like, it's him trying to ask for help. It's genuinely him trying to, but he's not admitting it yet. And Sanji, he made food for Luffy, but he tripped and it started raining and it fell. And it's just all dirty and nasty. And then he sees Luffy and he gives it to him and he's like, here, I'm sorry. And he goes to leave and Luffy eats all of it. He eats everything on the plate, no matter what it was. Even if it was dirt, even if it was mud, even if it was sludge, he ate it. And that shows the loyalty that he has to Sanji. Because that's his cook. That's genuinely Luffy's cook. No one else will ever be Luffy's cook. Sanji, Vince Smoke Sanji, will always be Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates cook. The same way that Zoro's the vice captain will be. Same way Chopper's the doctor. The same way that Robin's the archaeologist used for the poneglyphs. Same way that Brook is the musician. Same way that Nami's the navigator. The same way Usopp is the flex pick, basically the sniper. The same way that Jinbei's the helmsman, the same way that Frankie's the technician. Like, literally, everybody on the crew has a purpose, no matter what, and they will never be replaced, no matter what. So that's why Luffy will always fight tooth and nail to bring back Sanji. He will not leave until Sanji comes back or he dies. So that's where the loyalty comes from. And this is what affects Sanji. This is what makes him come back. This is what shows that, like, I have people that trust in me and that I trust. I can't leave them. I No matter what happens to me or what my family's trying to get me to do, I have to do this. I have to go back to my crew. This is not the life that I want to live. The Straw Hat life is what I want to live. And so after like a heartfelt, tearful reunion, which is crying number 3 for me, Sanji is back in the Straw Hat crew. And this is where I feel like the first half of the arc should have ended. You know, this is where the Water 7 would have ended for Whole Cake Island, and Enies Lobby would have started after I picked up. But nah, they just kept going. Like, they generally just kept going, and which surprised me because I feel like it would have been really good if it got split up. It would have made it easier to digest and a lot easier to watch, you know. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Like, pacing issues aside, this is where part 2 of Whole Cake Island starts. The first part was the Sanji retrieval arc. The second part is crashing the wedding. And this is where Sanji and Luffy basically start talking to Brook and Chopper and all of them, and they're like, yo, so I got Sanji back, now what do we do? Do we leave or do we stay and do we crash the wedding? And this is where they make the plan to crash the wedding. They're gonna have a lot of plans orchestrated. They're gonna work with Beige. They're gonna work with Caesar because Caesar's still here, still on the pirate ship. They're gonna work with everybody on the crew. They're gonna work with Carrot and Pedro, and basically they're also gonna work with Shifon's sister. I think it's her name, which is Beige's wife. So that's really cool. We have a callback from Thriller Bark, which is really nice. Like, it's this arc connects so well to again Zoe, and just Fishman Island and Thriller Bark as well. It's like there's so many callbacks. It's super cool, super cool. But yeah, so basically they have a small group that is going to work against Big Mom at the wedding, and Sanji's going to go to the wedding as planned, but we're gonna crash it because Luffy's going to be in the cake, and this is where things are gonna happen, right? Because uh, Brook and all of them are gonna get the poneglyph as well, and it's just gonna be crazy. And after they crash the wedding, they're going to try their best to escape. B's just gonna escape in one direction, Luffy's gonna escape in another, and that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna team up. This isn't a temporary alliance like Law and all of them, but like for like even shorter amount of time. And that's the plan basically. That's like the reductive, super short down to summarized plan. And it's gonna be crazy. Like generally, like had to make sure that my mic was still working. But yeah, so this wedding, like crashing a wedding, takes this long for a reason. Like things happen. Things happen for a reason. And one character I neglected to mention was Katakuri. Katakuri is one of the coolest characters in this entire series. Besides like Doflamingo, definitely one of the coldest. And you'll see why when we see him fight. But Katakuri's been a presence this entire time. He's like one of the oldest brothers in the Big Mom family. He has like I think a billion bounty berry, or excuse me, a billion berry bounty. He's that cracked, and the reason is because of his future sight. He has like strong observation hockey to the point where he could see seconds into the future, and that helps him a lot, you know. So Luffy doesn't have strong observation hockey. He has Conqueror's hockey. He has observation hockey, and he does have what's it called? Armament hockey, but they're not all that amazing. He has to get his all of them up. He has to get his weight up. But anyways, yeah. So the wedding starts. Sanji's up in the pedestal. He knows about the plan that Pudding's about to kill him, and she fails because Sanji says some really heartwarming stuff and just like, yo, you're beautiful. And the reason why he says that is because Pudding actually has a third eye. She's a part of a tribe and all that, and she's been so used to getting chastised and made fun of for her third eye that when Sanji said that she's beautiful, she didn't expect it. And that actually sidewinded her. And it made her fall in love with him. So all that nasty stuff that she did to him, it's gone. She's now fully in love with him. And now the wedding is derailed. Big Mom is now angry, super angry. And now she's not she's hungry. She was gonna eat the cake. She was gonna have such a good time, and it's gone. The cake is destroyed because Luffy came out of it. And now things are getting crazy. Literally, things are getting bonkers. So Big Mom starts going after Luffy. Everybody like that is on Luffy's side starts going into Beach's castle, and things are just getting wild. You know, Pudding and Sanji are now together. Like they're roaming together, and Nami and all them are traveling on the ship. They're trying to get onto the ship to escort Luffy and all of them out, and it's just super crazy. Like it's super crazy right now. They're now they're being chased by Big Mom. Like they're literally being chased. It's super cool, awesome things going on. It's awesome, and they're being chased to a forest. They're leaving the main island of Whole Cake Island, and Germa's here by the way as well. So they're also a part of this. I'll explain which side they're on later, but Germa, actually, yeah, if anything, Germa is on Sanji's side, but more because they were going to be exterminated by Big Mom, so they're forced to fight Big Mom, like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, type thing. So that's why they're working together with Sanji for right now. But yeah, so they're running back to the ship, and Big Mom gets stopped for a little while, but that doesn't mean that other people aren't being stopped, you know? Like Pedro, unfortunate passing. He dies because he sacrifices himself to stop Peros Peros. So, you know, he dies, God rest his soul. And Katakuri shows up. Katakuri shows up on the Thousand Sunny, and he takes Luffy into the mirror world, which is Borelli, one of the sisters. And by the way, Peros Peros is also one of the brothers, one of the older ones, and Broly is also one of the older ones. So she has mirror powers. Paros Paros has a candy power, and Katakuri has mochi power. So he's similar to Luffy. And this is where Luffy versus Katakuri begins. A whole like 12-hour endeavor is about to be underway. And not like in real life time, like the Katakuri fight is super long, but it's not like 12 hours. But in real time, like in the show, it was 12 hours long. Like it took that long. That's what's going on. Like that's what's happening with that. Um, Sanji and Pudding are making a cake for Big Mom to calm her down, so she doesn't destroy the island and like kill herself. You have Nami, Chopper, Brook, and Jinbei and all basically on the Thousand Sunny trying to find Sanji and just get away as well and wait for Luffy and all them. And yeah, Beach leaving basically. He's leaving, being a distraction, all that stuff. He's trying to get away from Big Mom. And it's super crazy right now. Everything is going down. Things are happening. Everything is wild. Like Sanji's fighting Oven. Like things are getting crazy. You have one of the Amazon daughters that Big Mom has just showing up. Things are getting wild. It's nighttime now. They're fighting in the sea. Luffy and Katakuri are still beefing. Sanji made the cake and gave it to Big Mom. She calmed down. All that stuff is going down. It's crazy. And now, what I'm going to be talking about is Luffy versus Katakuri. This deserves my attention. Luffy versus Katakuri is the best fight in the series, and like no doubt, even better than Luffy versus Lucci. It's that crazy. That fight is generally peak fiction. It probably will not be topped during our lifetime in One Piece, like ever. Unless if it is, and if it is, I will be happy because I want a better fight besides Luffy versus Katakuri because who doesn't want their favorite show to have a better fight? You know, like why wouldn't you, right? But Luffy versus Katakuri, this is basically what if you fought yourself, but he's better than you, and you have to become better than yourself. That's what's happening because Luffy, he's rubber. You have Katakuri who's mochi, and Katakuri he's taller, he's stronger, he's faster, he has future sight, he has mochi which is more flexible and just more malleable. You can do more with it, and it's just like Luffy is outclassed right now in almost every way. So he has to find a way to beat Katakuri because he has to. Like, Luffy cannot lose to Katakuri. If he does, this whole thing is over. Katakuri cannot be stopped by anybody else. Nobody on the ship, nobody in like the island can stop him. Besides probably like Big Mom, but well, not probably Big Mom can stop him. But Katakuri is a threat. He needs to be dealt with. That man will not let anybody who interrupted Big Mom's wedding leave. And Katakuri kind of has like an affinity to Luffy after seeing him fight so much. Like during their fight, he's realizing that this dude like he's persistent. This man has the gall to fight me still, even after I keep beating him up. And he's just running and he's trying to fight. He's finding ways to beat me. It's super cool. And Luffy, like, yeah, he's literally what he's doing. He's recalling on Rayleigh's training and just remembering that, like, yo, future sight, you use this, this, and this, blah, 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 trying to remember how to use it. And he learns how to use it mid fight, like, through combat, is he learning and improving. And it's super cool. And he pulls out all the stops. Like, once he gets used to future sight, he has to pull out all the stops to beat Katakuri. So he uses another form. Gear 4, Snake Man. The best form in all of Gear 4. You have Bounce Man, Tank Man, and Snake Man. Snake Man is bar none the best one, no doubt. But, now they're fighting on equal footing. Katakuri is fully, like, he's serious now. Luffy is going all out, and they're just beefing, bro. They're literally beefing, bar for bar, blow for blow. And it's coming down to the end. Literally insane animation, beautiful animation, peak fiction, bro. Like this fight takes place like over 23 episodes. It's that crazy. It's generally that insane. But yeah, so once things start slowing down, Luffy manages to knock out a dub from Katakuri. Katakuri is standing, Luffy is standing, and Katakuri falls. Luffy puts his suit on Katakuri and his hat, not his straw hat, but a hat that he got for the suit. He puts it on Katakuri as a sign of respect, and he leaves. to save his crew, and he did it. He made true on his word. He beat Katakuri, and he came back. So now he's back on the ship. He he's helping everybody escape. He's doing everything, but he's tired. The man is dead. The man fought with his entire life to stop Katakuri, the same way that he fought against Lucci. And now, like, he did his part. He can't do anything else. Oh, Carrot as well, using her Sulong form. This is a form that minks get when it's like a full moon outside. It's basically like how werewolves, full moon, all that stuff, where minks transform into their primal states where they get super strong, get a like stronger electricity, which is one of their affinities that they have. They just get enhanced overall. Like stats on the board just get increased, and she's going crazy. She's literally going insane, fighting everybody, fighting Paris Peros, fighting everybody. And they're running again. Beach is gone basically. He's still running away, and Germa now is fighting Big Mom because again they're helping Sanji, but more because again the enemy of my enemy is my friend type stuff. Super crazy. But then Jinbei, he's like, dog, okay. So here's the deal. You guys get away. The original Straw Hat members, you get away. I am a part of the Straw Hats, but I'm going to stop Big Mom and like let you guys escape for now, right? Me and my crew, the Sunfish Pirates, I think, I don't remember, like the Sun Pirates, his crew are going to stop Big Mom and let you guys get away, you know. And then Luffy's like, "But dog, why? Just come with us. We'll find a way to leave together." And then he's like, "Nah, bro. I need to lay down my life for my captain, but I will come back. There's no doubt. I'm not doing this to die and sacrifice myself. I'm doing this to come back, so that we can assure our captain's safety. Because we have a poneglyph. Like we literally got the poneglyph markings. Brook got the poneglyph markings during like the I think the first half of the arc. So we got that done already. We got Sanji. We escaped, or we're escaping right now. We got Jinbei. We left with our lives. Most of them, except for Pedro, God rest his soul. We mostly left with our lives. Like, we need to solidify that we do not die. We cannot lose more than just Pedro, bro. We have to keep going for Pedro. And Luffy's like, all right, then I'll be waiting for you in Wano, with the iconic meme of I'll be waiting for you in Wano. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So Jinbei stays back with the Sun Pirates, and he starts defending against Big Mom, letting Luffy and everybody on the Thousand Sunny to leave, ending Whole Cake Island. And man, what an arc, right? What an arc. This arc, I know, like, I didn't mention everything that happened in this arc. Like, I didn't mention their introduction to Fishman, or excuse me, to, what's it called, Whole Cake Island. I didn't mention Jinbei literally resigning, like, how it happened. I didn't mention Luffy getting tortured and Nami getting tortured. I didn't mention Sanji, like, and the extent that his brothers were bullying him. I didn't mention how Reiju was happening, like, what was going on with her in the, in the first half of the arc. I didn't mention like Germa, and their father, how he really is just a scumbag. I didn't mention the deal between Big Mom and Germa themselves, like how important it really is, and just I didn't mention that they're going to Wano now. Like Luffy, Sanji, and all of them are going to Wano, and now they're gonna meet up with Zoro and everybody. And this is where the final act of the Kaido, like takedown Kaido alliance is happening. Wano is the final act of that. And it's gonna be long. It's gonna be even longer than this. So, just be prepared for that. But Whole Cake Island is my favorite arc in the entire show. The entire series. This arc is amazing from start to finish. The only egregious problem is the pacing. But if I had to give an MVP, definitely has to be Luffy. Like there's no way that Luffy isn't the MVP for this arc. Like Snake Man, Tank Man, the man fought Katakuri, the man got Conquerors, or excuse me, Future Sight. The man gave us that one meme with I'll see you at Wano. Like the man was clutch the entire arc. He was on his saving Robin type stuff, and he knew her for a lot less. So seeing him do all this for Sanji was crazy, genuinely crazy, but it was so deserved, genuinely so deserved. So I'm so happy that he did it. Then the follow up is Sanji, then Jinbei, because Sanji really turned it around during the second half, where he really just started putting in the work, bro. He put in the work. Oh, and I forgot to mention, so Pudding stayed back, and the reason why is because she erased Sanji's memories, because she knew that Sanji and him couldn't be together because of their allegiances and just overall like their lifestyles are completely different. So she erased his memories because she has a memory devil fruit, and she erased it. She literally changed it. So he doesn't remember the wedding or anything like that, or at least like Pudding. He doesn't remember her, and Sanji's now just living his life. Poor girl though. As soon as she starts liking the guy that she's going to marry, she makes him forget her. And it's like, sure, Pudding was a terrible person. Like, she was a bad person, but you gotta admit when she started liking Sanji, she became really cute. So it's like it is what it is. But I'm glad Sanji really like he found peace. You know, he found peace in his life. He came back to the crew, and he just now he's back. Like he's back and better than ever. We have the best version of Sanji now. Or at the very least, like we're going to get it. So yeah, overall, like everything I said in the beginning was like remains true. Is it a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10? The story was amazing, probably the best one I've ever read, besides like Marineford. The characters were great, the animation was great, the scenes were great, the fighting was great, the music was great, everything. Like it was awesome. The voice actors were fire. It really got me emotional. Like man, Whole Cake Island, peak fiction, genuinely peak fiction. And let me know what you guys think below or what you think about this arc. But it's gonna be it for me for now. Thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoy. Next arc we're gonna be talking about is actually it's not gonna be Wano. It's gonna be the Revelry. It's gonna be super short, probably like 10 to 15 minutes. But yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about that, and then I'm gonna talk about Wano. So I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.